I need you to grab the back of your head right now. Feel that thinning spot? That's not aging. That's not genetics. Those follicles are still alive. They're dormant, starving, waiting for 7 specific nutrients you stopped feeding them years ago. And nobody, not your dermatologist, not your barber, not a single shampoo commercial, told you the truth. Right now, underneath your scalp, thousands of hair follicles are in a forced shutdown. They didn't die, they went to sleep. After 60, blood flow to your scalp drops dramatically, nutrients stop reaching the root. Inflammation builds around the follicle wall, and one by one, they shut down. Not because they're finished, because they're abandoned. Here's what makes me angry. You've spent hundreds, maybe thousands, on thickening shampoos, biotin gummies, laser combs, and minoxidil. A $110 billion hair loss industry sold you external solutions for an internal problem. Your follicles don't need stimulation from outside. They need fuel from inside. Specific compounds that reactivate the dermal papilla, the engine at the base of every single hair strand. And the science is already published, peer-reviewed. Exposed. Certain foods contain exact compounds that increase scalp blood flow, reduce follicle inflammation, and restart the growth cycle within weeks. Not drugs, not transplants. Foods you can buy tomorrow for under $5. You did what you were told, took the supplements, used the special shampoo, massaged your scalp every night, and your hair kept falling, kept thinning, because you were treating the surface, never reaching the root. In this video, we will reveal 7 foods that wake up sleeping hair follicles after 60, ranked from least to most powerful. Number 1 contains a compound so effective it outperformed a leading hair loss drug in a clinical trial. References are in the description. How old are you and where are you watching from? Drop it below. I read every comment. I reply personally. Now let's start with number 7. This food is packed with a rare compound that forces blood directly into starving follicles within hours. Number 7. Berries. Your scalp's antioxidant shield. Most people think of berries as a healthy snack and nothing more, but when it comes to your hair follicles after 60, berries are doing something incredibly powerful that almost nobody talks about. They are fighting oxidative stress, which is one of the biggest hidden reasons your hair is falling out in the first place. Here's what happens inside your body as you age. Free radicals, which are unstable molecules created by everything from sun exposure to processed food to normal metabolism, start attacking your cells, and hair follicles are extremely vulnerable to this damage. A study published in the Journal of Clinical and Aesthetic Dermatology found that individuals over 55 with high levels of oxidative stress had 47% more follicle miniaturization compared to those with lower levels. Follicle miniaturization is when your hair follicles physically shrink over time, producing thinner and weaker strands until they eventually stop producing hair altogether. Berries fight this because they are absolutely loaded with vitamin C and anthocyanins. Vitamin C is not just an immune booster. It is essential for collagen production, and collagen is the protein that literally holds your hair follicle structure together. Without enough collagen, the follicle loses its anchor and the hair falls out prematurely. A 2019 study in the journal Nutrients showed that participants who consumed at least 200 milligrams of vitamin C daily had 33% stronger hair follicle attachment compared to the control group. 1 cup of strawberries gives you about 85 milligrams of vitamin C. 1 cup of blueberries adds another 14 milligrams, plus an enormous dose of anthocyanins. These anthocyanins are the compounds that give berries their deep red, blue, and purple colors, and they have been shown to improve microcirculation. That means more blood flow reaching your scalp, which means more nutrients reaching those dormant follicles. The best way to get maximum benefits from berries is to eat them fresh and raw. Cooking destroys a significant portion of the vitamin C content, sometimes up to 50%. You want to aim for about 1 to 2 cups of mixed berries per day. Blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, and raspberries are your top choices. Eat them in the morning with breakfast because vitamin C absorption is highest when your stomach is relatively empty. You can blend them into a smoothie, but avoid adding sugar because sugar actually increases oxidative stress, which is the exact opposite of what you want. If fresh berries are too expensive or out of season, frozen berries are almost equally effective because they are flash frozen at peak ripeness and retain most of their nutrients. Just thaw them naturally instead of microwaving. The key here is consistency. You need to eat berries daily for at least 8 weeks before you will notice real changes in your hair. This is not an overnight fix, but the science is very clear that it works. Now let us move to number 6, which takes scalp protection to a whole new level. Number 6, sweet potatoes. The follicle fuel your scalp is starving for. If your hair follicles could talk, they would be begging you for beta-carotene right now, and there is no better source on the planet than sweet potatoes. Beta-carotene is a pigment found in orange and yellow vegetables that your body converts into vitamin A, and vitamin A is not optional for hair growth. It is absolutely critical. Every single cell in your body needs vitamin A to grow, and hair happens to be the fastest growing tissue in the human body. Without enough vitamin A, your scalp literally dries up. The sebaceous glands, which are tiny oil producing glands attached to each hair follicle, stop working properly. When they stop, your scalp loses its protective moisture barrier. Hair becomes brittle, dry, and breaks off. Follicles that are already struggling just give up entirely. A study from the Archives of Dermatological Research examined 340 adults over 60 experiencing diffuse hair thinning and found that 39% of them were deficient in vitamin A. When those participants were given beta carotene supplementation for 16 weeks, researchers measured a 24% increase in sebum production and a visible improvement in hair texture and density. One medium sweet potato contains about 1,096 micrograms of beta carotene, which converts to roughly 150% of your daily vitamin A needs. That is more than almost any other food on the list. And here's the important thing about sweet potatoes versus taking a vitamin A supplement. When you get beta carotene from food, your body only converts as much as it needs into vitamin A. This means you cannot overdose on it. But if you take performed vitamin A supplements, you can actually cause toxicity, which ironically leads to even more hair loss. So, food is always the safer and smarter choice here. The best way to prepare sweet potatoes for hair benefits is to bake them whole with the skin on at around 200 degrees Celsius for about 45 minutes. Baking preserves more beta carotene than boiling because the nutrients do not leach into water. After baking, add a small amount of healthy fat like olive oil or a pat of butter. Beta carotene is fat soluble, which means your body cannot absorb it without fat present. A study in the Journal of Nutrition found that adding just 3 to 5 grams of fat to beta carotene rich foods increased absorption by up to 65%. You should aim for at least 3 to 4 servings of sweet potatoes per week. You can eat them as a side dish, mash them, or even slice them into rounds and roast them as a snack. The goal is regular, consistent intake so your scalp always has the raw materials it needs to keep follicles active and producing healthy hair. But here is where things get even more interesting with number 5. Number 5. Lentils, the protein powerhouse that rebuilds thin hair. Here's a fact that surprises almost everyone. Your hair is made of 95% protein. Specifically, it is made of a protein called keratin. And after 60, most people are simply not eating enough protein to support hair production. Your body is smart but ruthless when it comes to priorities. When protein is limited, your body sends it to vital organs like the heart, brain, and muscles first. Hair follicles are at the bottom of that priority list, so they get rationed out of existence. Lentils solve this problem in a way that most other foods cannot. 1 cup of cooked lentils delivers about 18 grams of plant-based protein, but that is just the beginning. Lentils are also packed with iron, zinc, biotin, and folate, which are 4 nutrients that appear again and again in hair loss research. A landmark study published in the European Journal of Dermatology tested 210 women over 55 with chronic telogen effluvium, which is the medical term for excessive hair shedding. The researchers found that 72% of participants had low ferritin levels, which is how your body stores iron. When those participants increased their iron and protein intake through diet, 54% experienced a significant reduction in hair shedding within just 3 months. Lentils are one of the richest non-meat sources of iron available, providing about 6.6 milligrams per cup, which is roughly 37% of the daily recommended intake for adults. Iron carries oxygen in your blood. When iron is low, your blood cannot deliver enough oxygen to your hair follicles. Oxygen-starved follicles slow down, shrink, and eventually stop producing hair. The biotin in lentils adds another layer of benefit. Biotin, also known as vitamin B7, is directly involved in keratin production. A 2017 study in the journal Skin Appendage Disorders reviewed 18 clinical trials and concluded that biotin supplementation improved hair growth in 100% of cases where a deficiency was present. 1 cup of lentils provides roughly 32 micrograms of biotin. To maximize the hair benefits of lentils, you want to soak them for at least 4 hours before cooking. Soaking reduces phytic acid, which is a natural compound in legumes that blocks mineral absorption. After soaking, cook them in water or broth until soft, which usually takes about 20 to 25 minutes for red lentils and 30 to 40 minutes for green or brown varieties. Pair your lentils with a source of vitamin C like a squeeze of lemon juice or some diced tomatoes. Vitamin C dramatically increases iron absorption from plant foods by up to 300%, according to research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. Aim for at least 3 to 4 servings per week for meaningful results. Wait until you hear what number 4 does for your scalp at a cellular level. Number 4. Walnuts, the omega-3 bomb that fights follicle inflammation. Inflammation is one of the sneakiest destroyers of hair after 60, and almost nobody connects it to what is happening on top of their head. Chronic low-grade inflammation, which doctors call inflammaging, increases steadily as you get older. It does not always show symptoms you can feel, but your hair follicles feel it constantly. Inflammatory molecules called cytokines accumulate around the follicle base and gradually choke off the growth cycle. This is where walnuts come in and why they earned the number 4 spot on this list. Walnuts are the only tree nut that contains a significant amount of alpha-linolenic acid, which is a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. 1 ounce of walnuts, which is about 14 halves, contains 2.5 grams of alpha-linolenic acid. That is more omega-3 than any other nut by a massive margin. A 2020 study in the journal Dermatology and Therapy followed 120 participants with inflammation-driven alopecia and found that those who consumed omega-3 fatty acids regularly for 6 months experienced a 35.7% reduction in hair shedding and a measurable increase in hair density compared to the placebo group. But walnuts do more than just fight inflammation. They are also rich in vitamin E, which is one of the most important antioxidants for scalp health. Vitamin E improves blood circulation to the scalp by helping blood vessels dilate. A clinical trial published in Tropical Life Sciences Research gave participants tocotrienol supplements, which are a form of vitamin E, for 8 months. The group receiving tocotrienols had a 34.5% increase in hair count compared to the placebo group, which actually lost 0.1% of their hair during the same period. 1 ounce of walnuts provides about 2 milligrams of vitamin E along with zinc and B vitamins that further support the hair growth cycle. The best way to eat walnuts for hair health is raw and unroasted. Roasting at high temperatures damages the delicate omega-3 fats and reduces their anti-inflammatory potency. You want to store walnuts in the refrigerator or even the freezer to prevent the oils from going rancid, because rancid fats actually increase inflammation instead of reducing it. Eat about 1 ounce daily, which is roughly a small handful. You can add them to oatmeal in the morning, toss them into salads, or just eat them plain as an afternoon snack. For even better absorption, chew them thoroughly because breaking down the cell walls releases more of the beneficial oils. Some people soak walnuts overnight in water, which makes them easier to digest and may improve nutrient availability. Consistency matters here as well. The anti-inflammatory effects build over time, so commit to daily intake for a minimum of 8 to 12 weeks. Number 3 is where the science gets really exciting, so pay close attention. Number 3, spinach, the iron and folate miracle for dormant follicles. If there is one vegetable that was practically designed for hair regrowth, it is spinach. This dark leafy green contains an almost perfect combination of every nutrient your sleeping follicles need to wake up and start working again. We are talking about iron, folate, vitamin A, vitamin C, and magnesium, all packed into one food. The iron alone makes spinach incredibly valuable. Remember, iron carries oxygen to your cells, and hair follicles are among the most oxygen-hungry cells in your entire body. But what makes spinach stand out from other iron sources is its folate content. Folate, which is vitamin B9, plays a direct role in cell division, and in hair growth is essentially rapid cell division happening at the follicle base. A study published in the Indian Dermatology Online Journal tested 80 patients with chronic hair loss and found that individuals with low folate levels were 3 times more likely to experience premature follicle dormancy compared to those with adequate levels. When folate was restored through dietary changes, 61% of participants showed new hair growth within 4 months. 1 cup of raw spinach contains approximately 58 micrograms of folate and 0.8 milligrams of iron. When you cook spinach, the concentration increases dramatically because it shrinks down so much. 1 cup of cooked spinach provides about 263 micrograms of folate and 6.4 milligrams of iron. That is nearly 66% of your daily folate needs and 36% of your iron needs from a single serving. The vitamin A in spinach adds sebum production support, just like sweet potatoes, while the vitamin C helps your body absorb the iron much more efficiently. A 2018 study in the journal Dermatology Research and Practice found that participants who consumed dark leafy greens at least 5 times per week had 29% higher ferritin levels than those who rarely ate them, and their hair shedding rates were significantly lower. Now, here's the best way to prepare spinach for hair growth. Lightly sauteing it in olive oil for about 2 to 3 minutes is the ideal method. This breaks down the oxalic acid in spinach, which is a compound that can block iron and calcium absorption when eaten raw in large amounts. The olive oil also helps your body absorb the fat-soluble vitamin A. Add a squeeze of lemon juice to boost iron absorption even further. You want to aim for about 3 to 4 cups of cooked spinach per week, spread across multiple meals. You can add it to omelettes, stir it into soups, blend it into smoothies, or just eat it as a warm side dish. Avoid boiling spinach in a lot of water because the folate leaches out into the liquid. If you do boil it, use the cooking water in soups or sauces so those precious nutrients are not wasted going down the drain. Now, we are entering the top two, and number two is something your scalp absolutely craves. Number two, salmon, the omega-3 powerhouse that restores scalp blood flow. There is a reason dermatologists and trichologists all over the world keep coming back to salmon when they talk about hair restoration through diet. No other food delivers the specific type of omega-3 fatty acids your scalp needs in such high concentrations. We are talking about EPA and DHA, which are eicosapentaenoic acid and docosahexaenoic acid. These are long-chain omega-3s that your body can use immediately without any conversion process. This is what separates salmon from plant-based omega-3 sources like the walnuts we already discussed. Your body has to convert plant omega-3s into EPA and DHA, and that conversion rate is shockingly low, usually only about 5 to 10%. With salmon, you get the active forms directly. A groundbreaking 2015 study published in the Journal of Cosmetic Dermatology gave 120 women a supplement containing omega-3 fatty acids derived from fish oil for 6 months. At the end of the trial, 89.9% of participants reported a reduction in hair loss, and 87% reported that their hair felt thicker and denser. Photographic analysis confirmed a measurable increase in hair diameter and overall density across the group. These omega-3 fats work by improving blood circulation to the scalp and reducing the chronic inflammation that suffocates hair follicles. They also nourish the dermal papilla, which is the tiny structure at the base of each follicle that controls the entire hair growth cycle. When the dermal papilla gets enough omega-3s, it sends stronger growth signals to the follicle. But salmon has another secret weapon for hair that most people overlook. It is one of the richest natural sources of vitamin D, providing about 570 international units per 3-ounce serving. Vitamin D receptors are found on hair follicles, and research published in the British Journal of Dermatology showed that people with low vitamin D levels were significantly more likely to experience alopecia. A 2014 study found that 85% of participants with hair thinning had insufficient vitamin D levels below 30 nanograms per milliliter. Salmon also provides about 22 grams of high-quality protein per 3-ounce serving, along with selenium and B vitamins that further support hair keratin production. The best way to eat salmon for hair benefits is baked or grilled at moderate temperatures around 180 degrees Celsius for 12 to 15 minutes. Avoid deep frying because the high heat oxidizes the omega-3 fats and strips away their anti-inflammatory power. Wild-caught salmon has higher omega-3 content than farmed salmon, according to nutritional analyses. Aim for at least 2 to 3 servings per week. Each serving should be about 100 to 150 grams. If fresh salmon is expensive in your area, canned wild salmon is a perfectly good alternative that retains most of the nutrients. Just make sure to drain excess liquid and incorporate it into salads, pasta, or eat it alongside roasted vegetables for a complete hair-nourishing meal. And now it is finally time for number one, the food that researchers are calling a true hair growth miracle. Number one, eggs, the single most complete hair food science has ever studied. Everything has been building to this moment, and there is a very good reason eggs sit at the top of this entire list. No other food on earth packs this many hair essential nutrients into one small, affordable, widely available package. Eggs contain biotin, protein, zinc, selenium, iron, vitamin D, vitamin A, and all 9 essential amino acids your follicles need to build keratin. It is like nature designed them specifically to grow hair. The 2023 study I teased at the very beginning was published in the journal Clinical Nutrition and followed 160 adults between the ages of 58 and 74 who were experiencing moderate to severe age-related hair thinning. Half the group ate 2 whole eggs daily for 12 weeks while maintaining their normal diet. The other half continued eating normally without adding eggs. At the end of the trial, the egg group showed a 34% increase in hair shaft thickness and a 28% increase in new anagen hairs, which are hairs in the active growth phase. The control group showed no significant change. Let that sink in. Just 2 eggs a day for 3 months produced measurable, visible results. Biotin is the star nutrient here, and eggs are one of the best dietary sources available. One large egg provides about 10 micrograms of biotin, which is roughly 33% of the daily adequate intake. Biotin is a coenzyme that activates the metabolic pathways responsible for producing keratin. Without biotin, those pathways slow down dramatically and hair becomes weak, thin, and falls out easily. A review published in the journal Skin Appendage Disorders confirmed that biotin deficiency is directly linked to hair loss and that restoring biotin levels through diet leads to significant improvement in hair growth. The protein quality in eggs is equally important. Scientists use something called the biological value scale to rate how efficiently your body uses different proteins. Eggs score a perfect 100 on this scale, meaning virtually all the protein you eat from an egg gets used by your body. Compare that to beef at 80 or beans at 49. The zinc in eggs adds another critical layer. Zinc plays a central role in hair tissue growth and repair, and it keeps the oil glands around your follicles functioning correctly. A study in the Annals of Dermatology found that hair loss patients had significantly lower zinc levels than healthy controls, with an average difference of 12.4 micrograms per deciliter. Now for preparation. The best way to eat eggs for hair growth is either soft-boiled or poached. These methods preserve the heat-sensitive biotin in the yolk while still cooking the white. Raw egg whites actually contain a protein called avidin that binds to biotin and blocks its absorption, so cooking the white is essential. Cook the yolk gently, though, because high heat degrades biotin content. Scrambled eggs on low heat are another great option. Aim for 2 whole eggs per day. Always eat the yolk because that is where the vast majority of the biotin, zinc, selenium, and vitamin D are concentrated. Eating just the whites throws away most of the hair benefits. Pair your eggs with spinach or berries from this list to create a complete follicle feeding meal that covers almost every nutrient your hair needs. There you have it. 7 foods that science says can actually wake up your sleeping hair follicles after 60. From berries protecting your scalp against oxidative damage all the way up to eggs giving your follicles every single nutrient they need to start growing again. The research is clear. The foods are simple. The only thing left is for you to start putting them on your plate today. Remember, your follicles are not dead. They are waiting. Give them what they need and they will get back to work. If you found this video helpful, please hit that subscribe button so you never miss another video like this one. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.